Hey everyone, Tony Winston here for Jazz Piano College, and I'm going to cover this Dave Brubeck song today called In Your Own Sweet Way. A viewer asked a question about rootless voicing, so that's what I'm going to focus on in this song. A lot of Dave Brubeck songs will really meander through a lot of key centers, and this one's no different. It really travels a lot. So it's in the key of B flat. And we're going to start off with an A minor 7 flat 5 chord. And since I'm talking about rootless voicings, let me just kind of really briefly go over what I'm talking about and what I mean by box voicings, because people always ask me, what the hell am I talking about with box voicings? And I will link to some of my videos where I, analyze these chords in a box. And that's why they're called box voicings, no other reason. And they are rootless, but they're like these chord shapes that can be analyzed several different ways. So let's take, I'll just go over the boxes real quickly. We've got box 1, which is this shape. Okay, now this could be 6 different chords, but I'm just going to go over a few of them. It could be C, like C dominant. It's got a third, it's got a 9th and a 13th in it. It could be also like an F sharp 7th with some altered tensions like that. So, you could go like that. It could be a G minor 6, if you want like that. And it could also be what? It could be an E minor 7 flat 5. And in this case, it does actually have the root because there's E, but used like that as an E minor 7. Okay, so that's box 1. Box 2 is simply the inversion of box 1, and it can be analyzed exactly the same way. Box 3 has got this flat 9 in it, if you're thinking of it as a C 7th chord, and it can be used as C 7th, E flat 7th, F sharp 7th, or A 7th. All right, and it can also be used as various diminished chords like B flat diminished, C sharp diminished, E diminished, and G diminished. All right, and each one of those it'll have an added tension to it. So that's box 3. Box 4 really ought to be the inversion of it, but it is actually something else, and I can't even think what it is. I think it might be this. Maybe. All right, and there's plenty of other shapes too that are possible. Like that shape, I don't think has a name, and then there's little fragments of things, like that, this, and a lot of times too. These 4-note voicings, you can strip them down to 3, like that. So there's box 1, strip it down. Here's box 2, same exact chord. Strip it down, and if you strip it down this way, you get some quartal harmony, and we're going to use a little bit of that today too. All right, that's the box voicing analysis. So when I talk about box 1, box 2, box 3, I'm just talking about 3 different shapes. So first one I'm going to use is a box 2 voicing for A minor 7 flat 5. And you see it could be F7, right? Could be some other things too, C minor 6, 6/9. But here I'm using it as A minor 7 flat 5, and it's got the root in it, and it's also got the melody note in it, so I'd probably be better if I just played just the regular old chord, Sounds pretty good, let's like that. Okay, a dominant chord with a flat 9. Yeah, just using a little diminished chord there, though I could have done that for more tension. Now, major chords and minor chords, most of those boxes that I was telling you about don't really work for major and minor chords. They work mostly for dominant chords. So from a minor chord, you just take the root out and turn it to a 2nd or a 9th, so like that. Okay. But once again, the smoothest way here is probably just to go to a regular closed position, and even for C7, that, or maybe with a flat 9. Yeah, I like the flat 9. Now, here's a good one. I've got C minor 7th. I changed the root to the 9th. And then I'm going to go to that, what I think was maybe box 5. Pretty harsh, so maybe I don't like it. That's pretty good too, but you've got this interval in there, which doesn't seem right. So you could just do it like that. And then we've got B flat 6th. Now a major chord, you can kind of do the same thing. You can take out the root and change it to a 2nd. But you could also make it like a 6-9 chord. And since it says B flat 6th, there's the 6, and I'll change the root to a 2nd, and I get this nice kind of chordal voicing here, right? Because a lot of fourths in there. And then I can kind of use that same kind of voicing in a kind of different inversion for E flat, but listen how similar they sound. So I think that what I'm going to do is put a passing chord in there. See, I went B flat, and then B flat 7th with a flat 13, I guess. You could also think of it as an E chord going to E flat, if you want to think of it that way. And here I'm going to do kind of the same thing. All right, so there's my rootless voicing. Here's like box 2, but stripped down because I took that note out. And major 7th chords, like I said, there's no real box voicing for them. They sound good just like any inversion of the chord because you've got some nice dissonance anyway. And here, going to, the chords sound very similar. And, I had the same thing back up there with B flat and E flat, so I'm going to do the same kind of thing. Like that. There's my C flat chord. And now the next chord says C minor 7 flat 5. I could do it like this. Some people just skip this. I looked at another chart, just has F altered there. So F7 flat 9 is altered, but so is like F7 with a sharp 9 and a flat 13. So I'll do it like that. And then we get B flat. It's this chord that resolves, and a lot of folks, will skip that. It's kind of a hip sound, but just to make it a little bit more radio friendly, you could just go right to the F. All right, let me run through it again. I'll do it the A section 2 or 3 times and just kind of explore some of the open voicings that I think of, and do some exploring on your own and see what you come up with. Now we get to the bridge, E minor 7 flat 5, and I can use this, looks like a C7th, but it's also E minor 7 flat 5. And once again, the melody is the same note that I've kind of changed there, see? So I think I'll play it just closed voicing. Yeah, I could have done rootless voicings like this, or box voicings, I should say. And then go to D major 7, rootless. Beep, 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 beep. that. But I kind of like, putting this as just the regular chord because I'm not doubling the A. And the same way with this one, I could change the sharp 9 to a flat 9, and then I get more notes, so I kind of like it like that. Now we have a major 2-5-1. All right, typical ways of doing this. That was with, box 1 there, or you could use box 3, almost the same. All right, and then we've got another major 2-5-1, so we start on D minor, G7, and C. Let's see if that works with the melody. Yeah, open it up into some open voicings there. When it gets too low to use rootless voicings. Now that kind of is the top note of my rootless voicing there, so I'll just play a little bit underneath of it. And here, it says G7, but we could go D minor 7 first and then G7. Now, another really kind of good way to go about this is just kind of play the chords like little 3-note chords with the roots on the bottom. It sounds fine with the bass player, but it sounds a little better as a solo piano player. So let's do that. And we're jumping all over the place here, but bass players jump all over the place, so we can too. Oh, so that's the wrong one. I said it's a minor 2-5-1, but it ends on D major, doesn't it? So it sets up like a minor 2-5-1 with a minor 7 flat 5, typical, and an A altered, right? Because the melody note there, chord says flat 9, but the melody's a sharp 9. And then a more typical way. At the bottom, it says E-flat Dorian for 8 measures. All right, so let's have some fun with this. All right, so we got E-flat Dorian. So that's just the D-flat major scale. So you're thinking E-flat minor, basically, but it says Dorian, so that you don't have to really play a minor chord. You can play some fourths like this. Just stay in the scale, that's all. And if you don't want to stay in the scale, don't. See, that's slipping in and out of the key, so. Now I'm going to think in the key of D here for a minute. Because I was thinking in D flat major for the scale. I don't know if I was thinking about it, but that's what it is, D flat major. So I'm going to slip up just a half step like that. All right, so just a little bit there on D, and then back to E flat. Could do some McCoy stuff. I came up with this earlier today. I was just working my way. I typically do this. And then, like that. There's so many cool things you can do in here. check all that out? All right, E flat minor, and just slide it into a perfect fourth voicing. All right, totally out of the key, but it'll sound good. And then here, see that one's out and then goes back in. That's E. And then what do I do next? I don't know. See, it was out and then I went back in. And then you could maybe do something like, I don't know. Yeah, like that's an E flat minor, and that's E flat minor. It's got that 6 in there. Sounds more like an A flat 7th, but it's still cool. And then like that. So, you know, it's eight measures to go crazy on. And like I said, you know, the sheet music is down there for free in the description. Just click on it. And if you want to know more about box voicings and rootless voicings, stuff to do with your left hand, you know, got plenty of videos about it. So I think I'll link to the playlist. Yeah, that's what I'll do. It should be right up there somewhere. Just hit that button. Okay, thanks, everyone. See you next time.